Okay, hello everyone. How are you? All good, very good. Okay, so we saw syllabus yesterday. In the last lecture, we saw what were the syllabus points for GS3 point number 1 to 10. I hope by now you have remembered it. We'll quickly go through them once. I hope you have detailed it like in the way we did. So, what was point number 1? Try to remember what was point number 1. We have seen it is a big point. How many sub points does it have? It has 5 sub points, right? What are the 5 sub points? Can you recollect? Please try to recollect. I'll give you a few seconds to recollect. What was the first syllabus point? What were the 5 sub points? Can you recollect, please? Can you recollect? Can you recollect? Please try to recollect. Okay, the first point was Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment. Issues is the word. Okay, second point. What was the second point? Inclusive growth and issues arising from it. Second point, inclusive growth and issues arising from it. Second point is inclusive growth and issues arising from it. Third point, very simple, straightforward point, which is government budgeting. That was the third point. What is the fourth point? We did not see. What is the fifth point? We did not see. What is the sixth point? Seventh point? We did not see. What is the eighth point? Eighth point has 3 subparts. You remember there are 3 subparts in the eighth point. What are the subparts, or what is the eighth point? Effects of liberalization on Indian economy. Okay, effects of liberalization on Indian economy, changes in industrial policy and its effects on and their effects on industrial growth. 3 sub points. Point number 9, infrastructure, ports, roads, airports, railways, etc. Then we saw there were 2-3 things which are added, which have been asked in the exam. One is housing, one is telecom, logistics, etc. Okay. Then 10th point. 10.2 words, very simple, investment models. Yesterday, or rather in the last lecture, we tried to deal preliminarily go into what is investment model. So it is basically the arrangement of investment. On what terms would the investment be made? See, investment is nothing but money being parked somewhere in the hope of getting some return or other benefit. Yeah, that benefit may be monetary or non-monetary, but that is an investment. You invest in something. People also say that we invest in relationships. When we be friends with someone, when we make someone our girlfriend or boyfriend, or when we enter into relationships, friendships, or any other thing, that is also, or good relations with our colleagues, our workers, that is also investing, because you are giving your time. You are not giving money. Sometimes you also give money, but you are giving your time, and then you are expecting that you will get that emotional comfort when you are in trouble. You will get help, or when you are happy, you will have people to share the happiness with. So that is also investing. Because so investing in our economic terms is you invest money, you give money to someone, and you expect something in return, be it monetary or non-monetary. Right? So these are the points. Now we'll jump to the questions directly. See, last lecture I told you to keep the paper ready with all the points, GS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I am not going to write the points on the board. You have to write it sitting on your home on that paper. Okay? Please, I told you that I am not going to do all the work for you. You also have to cooperate. You also have to work hard. See, you have to become IAS. If you rely on someone completely in your preparation, then it does not make any sense. Yeah, I'll be very frank. You have to do a lot of hard work, and I am there to help you in every step, but not do the step for you. I will help you, but not do your work. So, please keep your paper ready. I'll give you half a minute. यहाँ वहाँ paper होगा, paper must be here and there. Please keep it. Please write all those points on the left hand side of the margin. Point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Please be prepared to write the question numbers along with the year numbers in front of those points. We'll see the questions in a while. Okay? I hope you are following this approach. And in every lecture, I will tell you that if you have any feedback, anything which you like, anything which you don't like, the speed of the lectures, slow, fast, please convey it to me via SMS or Telegram. I had given my number in the last lecture. Please do that so that the future lectures can be changed, the approach can be changed, or your problems can be addressed in the future lectures. Please do not wait till the 8th or the 10th lecture and then tell me, because by the time we would have recorded 5-6 lectures further down the line. Okay? So by the time you are seeing your second lecture, we are already at our 4th or 5th lectures, for example. So as soon as possible, please let me know so that your queries, your problems, your concerns can be addressed in a timely and effective manner. Okay. So I hope you have your paper ready with you now. I'm not going to write it because you have to write it. Okay, chal. So now write. We'll see the first question. We'll see all the questions for point number 1. We'll go line by line. So before that, we'll do an exercise. You have to guess. This is the most important exercise we are going to do. You have to guess. I'll show you a question on the screen, and you have to guess which syllabus point does this question come from. Okay? Out of point number 1, 2, 3, and 8, 9, 10, you have to tell which syllabus point this question number comes from. Okay? Please try to do this. This is the most important thing you will ever do. The reason being, you will read an editorial in newspaper tomorrow, let's say, and you have to try to guess which syllabus point this editorial is hitting. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. I will show you a question. You have to tell me which syllabus point it is. You also have to tell me which sub point it is. For example, if I show you a question which is from point number 8, effect of liberalization, so on and so forth, and I tell you you tell me, sir, it is from point 8. You also have to try to pinpoint and tell me which particular sub point it is from. So changes in industrial policy se hai, effects on industrial growth, or changes in industrial liberalization, effect of liberalization on industries. So all of that you have to tell me. Okay, first question, do not write anything. Please pay attention to the question. Do not write anything. First question is 2017 question 1. That is the first question. Please do not write anything. 2017 question 1. I'm not doing this full screen because we have to shift between the years of questions, so it becomes tedious. Okay, this is the first question. I hope you can see it. It is big enough. This is the first question. Please read the question. Please read the question and tell me which syllabus point it is coming from. I will give you time. Please tell me which syllabus point it is coming from. Please read this question on your own first. We are going to analyze each and every question which has been asked by UPSC in the last 8 years. We are going to analyze minimum 65 questions, because you have to know your exam before you get into the war field. You have to know how many soldiers are there. You have to know how many vehicles are there. You have to know. Few of you might be playing PUBG also, and now Battlegrounds Mobile India. So you have to know how many people are there alive in their team. Are they using vehicle? What weapons do they have? Where are they hiding? You have to know the terrain. So this is knowing the terrain. This is knowing your enemy. This is knowing your exam. Okay, so we have to spend as much time as possible to do this, because once this is done, then subject will become so smooth and so easy that you will not stray away from the path. Right? Please read this question. Please read this question. I am giving you time. Please read the first question. The first question. Read it carefully, one by one. See, you don't have any idea about economics. That is the fun of economics. You have basic common sense, but how to apply that for our study in economics, that you don't know, and that we have to unlock using this exercise. You might not know the definition of potential growth or savings rate, or what is effective, what is not. That is all fine. Basic English understanding you have to apply here. Basic English. Don't try to find the answer. I am just telling you to tell me which syllabus point do you think this question came from. You have by-hearted the syllabus point. That is why I told you by-hearting is very important, because now without looking at the syllabus points, you have to try to understand and try to link which point does this question come from. Among several factors for India's potential growth, savings rate is the most effective one. Do you agree? What are the factors available for growth potential? What are the factors available for growth potential? What are the other factors available? Sorry. So first tell me which syllabus point is it from. If you are telling me it is from point 1, then I will tell you are partially correct, because I told you have to tell me the sub point also. Sub point is very important. Okay? Sub point is very, very, very important. What do you think? Is there growth in our syllabus? Is there growth point in point number 1? Is there a sub point called as growth? Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth. The third sub point which comes is growth. So, okay, no need to analyze the question now. We are going to do that slowly. Very good. Among several factors for India's potential growth, savings rate is the most effective one. Before doing this, just let me tell you one thing. If you know basic English, not hi-fi English, if you can read basic English books, if you can read English, economics is very easy. Whenever you have any doubt, please try to apply basic English sense to those words, and more often than not, not always, but more often than not, those terms mean, the meaning of those terms become very simple. Okay? So please try to do this. Please remember that basic English is the key to economics. So, among several factors for India's potential growth, savings rate is the most effective one. Do you agree? What are the other factors available for growth potential? Right? Now we will analyze the question. Now I will tell you, so many seniors must be telling you, many videos you must be seeing that analyze past year question paper. So what is the meaning of analyzing past year question paper? That is important, no? Analyze karna matlab kya? What is the meaning of analyzing? Whether do we see how it has been asked, what has been asked, etc. So we are doing analysis. Together we will do the analysis. Okay, basic English. So we have established that this is from point number 1. Okay, sub point 3, but point 1. Okay, we have established that. Among several factors for India's potential growth, savings rate is the most effective one. So read till here. Okay, read till here. Among several factors, so they are only saying there are several factors for India's potential growth. They are only saying, we are not debating that. They are saying there are several factors. Among several factors for India's potential growth, this is one of them as per UPSC. This is one of them as per UPSC, because they are saying savings rate is the most effective one. Yes or no? Okay. Do you agree? That is the second. And what are the other factors? So apart from savings rate, what are the other factors available for growth potential? So now it should be embedded in your mind that savings rate is one of the factors for India's growth. Simple. We are taking matter from the question itself. Whatever UPSC is giving us, see, remember I told you in the last lecture, UPSC gives us only a few things: notification, past year question papers, model question answer booklet, and answer keys. Notification we saw. Now this is past year question paper. Okay? So among several factors for India's potential growth, savings rate is the most effective one. Do you agree? So they are asking us, do we agree or not? They are not saying it is the most effective one, but they are saying, do you agree with this? You have to prove it basically. Savings rate is one of the factors of growth of India's potential growth. Please embed in this in your mind. Okay, you can even write it down as a one-liner in your other page or other notes. The savings rate is one of the growth or factors of India's growth potential. Simple. We are taking answer from the question itself here. And next time when some similar question will come, savings rate is one of the factors. We are going to stick it like that in that answer. Chalo. Okay? Do you agree? What are the other factors available for growth potential? Okay? Now tell me, now we will do an exercise which you have to do on the day of your exam also. So from today, you have to be in the habit of analyzing questions, whatever questions you come across. Okay? Whatever. See, I am going for mains first, then we'll go for prelims also. I'll show you prelims questions also. Don't worry. There is one entire lecture only kept for past year prelims questions, and to show how ridiculously easy they are. Once you know the concept. See, once you know the concept, prelims becomes very easy. Now, many people say, after foundation, should we do some other crash course, or should we do some other advanced classes, small modules of 2 months, 3 months after completing foundation? My advice is, please do not do that. You are wasting precious time. See, I honestly don't know about other subjects, but my subject, I will prepare you in such a manner that you do not need any other class, any other help. if you study the materials which I tell you, if you understand the way I tell you to do, if you attend my lectures regularly, complete my lectures with complete understanding and not just skip the lectures and just आगे जाके देख लेंगे क्या होगा, ठीक है, right? See, perfect studies. I told you in the last lecture कि सब पढ़ लूँगा, I will read everything. That is a very big that is a very big misconception or a very big wrong ambitious goals which people set and then they get tired. So similarly, perfect study is a myth in UPSC. My study is perfect. I have covered everything. My study is perfect. I have done this. I have done that. It is not like that. It is imperfect. ठीक है? It is imperfect. You have to give your best, but there is nothing like a perfect study. If there was a perfect study, people would have passed very easily. That is a fact. ठीक है ना? So please do not keep going in search of that perfect study method or like that. Please start studying. On the way, you will get chances to improvise. On the way, a few months down the line, you will realize that you have been doing this all wrong. You will get chance to change your study pattern. But the experience gained in these months should not go waste. So please start from today itself. I urge you, every one of you who are sitting at home, to not waste time. Exam next June mein hai. Prelims is in next June. Mains is in next year, September, October. Assuming that the schedules are adhered to. Lot of time is there. Trust me, it is not. By the time the class gets over, you would have already reached September, October, or I don't know. Then once 2022 starts, you will be in a panic situation. So to avoid that, please start studying from now. I'll tell you honestly, very honestly, I'll tell you now, minimum 8 hours of effective study you have to do. 8 hours of effective, not sitting. You might sit for 12 hours and 8 hours effective study might happen. You might sit for 9 hours and 8 hours study. 8 hours of effective study you should do. Now, what is effective study? Effective study is when you look at the page and you actually read and not just stare at the page for 15 minutes. And we all encounter such things when we are sleepy, when our mind is somewhere else, when you are thinking about something else, when you are bored. You are staring at the page, book is open in front of you. हम देख रहे हैं कि चल रहा है, कुछ तो है उसमें, but 15 मिनट से एक ही पेज देख रहे हैं हम. What I'm saying in Hindi is, we are just looking at the page for 15 minutes and we know there is something written, but 15 minutes we are just staring at the page. So that is not effective study. Effective study is 8 hours you read, you understood. Memorization is not required at this stage. Please do not try to memorize anything. Try to understand, please. I request you, do not go for memorizing. Your mind will play tricks on you. I have told you, next month you will forget what are we discussing now. It's okay as far as you have paid full attention to what we are doing now. Right? When I'll discuss the sources, I'll also tell you how to read those sources. See, what to read is important. How to read is much more important. And what not to read is even more important than that. Okay? So do not be in a hurry. We'll take this one step at a time. So now we are in mains mode. I told you that 250 marks paper will come GS3. GS3 will have 20 questions. Okay? Now that is the pattern which is being followed till date. So see, till 2016 they were asking 12.5 marks into 20 questions, 250 marks till 2016. When I gave my first attempt in 2017, in the exam I saw a very different kind of a pattern which you see now. That was the first time a different kind of pattern was introduced, which is 10 questions of 10 marks and 10 questions of 15 marks, which is 250 marks again. Okay? In 2013, if you see, they used to ask 5 questions ke 5 marks ke 2 questions also. So one question 9A, 9B, 5 marks, 5 marks. So that entire 9 is of 10 marks. Okay? You might also see different kind of markings in your attempt. There is quite a possibility that 5 markers will make a comeback. There is a possibility that they will ask 2 markers, just concepts. Write in 2-3 sentences, 2 marks, concept. There is a possibility that they will ask questions of 20 marks also, like they ask in optional. See, in optional paper, they are asking 20 marks questions also. There is a possibility, you have to be prepared for it. Nobody will tell you that this year it is going to be like this. UPSC will never do that. UPSC will give you a shocker on the day of your exam when you open the question paper booklet. You have to be very adaptable. Right? For becoming adaptable, please pay attention. For becoming adaptable, we are going to take a look at our page. This is our page. I told you that do not use ruled or lined papers from now on. Use blank page, or you can take the model UPSC answer key booklets which come in the market. They are blank pages with borders. So they will be like this. They will have borders, you know. So this is a typical UPSC answer key. This thing. I will show you the answer key also. Just a minute. I will show you the answer key also, don't worry. So what I want to do for homework for today's lecture is, please do the homework religiously. Please, religiously karo. Don't just ignore. I am not a fool. I am not a person who is just coming here to teach and you will just ignore. I really care about your progress. I want to see you succeed. I want you not to make the mistakes I have made or others have made whom I know. So please take me seriously. Please take this course seriously. Please take your studies seriously. It is your future which is dependent on it. Do not waste this precious time. Okay? So the homework for you is, you have to start writing from here, from the topmost corner, and of the margin. After leaving margins, if you don't have this page, then please leave margins of 4 centimeters or something, 2 to 4 centimeters on every side. Okay? You have this page. Start writing here. This is an exercise you have to do. Do not leave any line. Just write in one continuous long paragraph and end here. Okay? Just write in one long paragraph, full page, one side and end here, and count the number of words. So step 1 is, you have to count the number of words. Okay, as per your handwriting size, how many words can you fit in one side? How many words can you fit in one side? That you have to take a rough guess. Now, once you took a rough guess, so let's assume that you are able to fit in 100 words. I'm just assuming it might be 90, 120, 130, 70 also. I'm assuming 100 words if you are able to fit from start to end. Now, we did not leave a space for paragraph heading. We did not leave space for paragraph breaks. Right? So, assuming that you leave space after paragraphs, this space is left blank. Chalo, assuming. Right? Assuming that you write space for headings also of the paragraph. So that is also left blank. Assuming you do that. So let us assume ki net you are writing 85 words. 85 words in one page with page breaks and all. Assuming there are 2-3 small paragraphs and 2-3 small points. So 85 words we have arrived. Now, once you know this, and this is very unique to each and every one of you based on your size of handwriting. Now, once you know this, how many approx, and this is all approximation, not exact science, 85 ka 88 ho gaya, so it won't work. It's not like that. Once you know this from start to end, once you know this, on one side, how many this thing you can fit, words you can fit. Next, what you have to do is, next immediate thing, before reading the question, forget about reading the question. Before reading the question, look at how many marks and how many words are required. Before reading the question, how many marks and how many words are required. Okay? So, for example, here we saw 150 words. 150 words, 10 marks. Okay? We saw 150 words and 10 marks. Instantly, we have not read the question. Chalo, assume we have not read the question. 150 words and 10 marks. Now, 150 words, you only tell me where will we. This is the first side. And this is the second side. Okay, assuming this is the second side. I am making you direct exam ready. There is no time, okay? This is the first side. Let's say you are fitting in 85 words. For example, second side here you will fit in 170 words. Okay? We have to finish in 150 words. So this is your finish line. Assuming this is your finish line. I am just taking a rough guess. Right? Now, mostly the experience of most of the candidates are they find difficulty in completing the paper. Why? Because there's a lot of time pressure and you have to just race through it. So, 95 or 90-95% almost everyone except a few, what they do is they write a bit less, 2 to 3 sentences less they write. Okay? So, let's say this is your 150 word mark approximately. You will end here. Assuming you will write 130 or 125 words, you will finish. So, you will end here. You will end your answer here. You have not read the question. Bear in mind, you have not read the question. This you are doing in your mind. When you see a question, you are doing in your mind, ki I will finish this answer second half of next side. I will finish it. I will finish it. Okay? Now you know every question has an introduction and a conclusion. Every question. Some questions have way forward, some questions have conclusion, some questions have small introduction, large introduction. The general rule is that if it is a 10 marker, generally we don't write big conclusions or big introductions because we don't have that much space. The whole focus of the question is on body. Okay? Just once get in the mind of an examiner and think, if you are setting a 10 marker question, what would you like to see? A very nice introduction, nice conclusion, or you would like to see nice points? Okay, so nice points is the focus. But if you are, let's say, setting up a 15 or a 20 marker question, then the introduction has to be very good. The conclusion has to be very fulfilling. And body also has to be definitely good. Okay, so we are now seeing a 10 marker. So now let us say 10 marker here. So we will give less time to introduction and or less space and less words to introduction and conclusion. So let's say we have to finish the introduction in 2 lines. In 2 lines, normally it takes around 15 words. 10 to 15 words you have to finish your introduction. So in your budget of this, on this page, out of 85 words, your 85 words on page 1, यहाँ पे 85 है, and यहाँ पे let us assume कि you are finishing by 140. You are finishing by 140. So here you have 55 words on the second page. So you have 85 and 55. Okay? Now this 85 में से 15 goes for introduction, which you are left with 70. You are left with 70 words here. 55 में से let us again assume 15 words go for conclusion. 15, 20 words. 15 words again go for conclusion, and we are taking a very conservative estimate. 15 words में नहीं होता है, but still I am taking 15, assuming कि you are able to pull it off. 60. ठीक है? Okay? 70 words you have to write here, good content. 40 words you have to write here, good content. Okay? Done? Now, so you have 110 words, 70 words on first page, 40 words on second page. And these are all approximations. Again, now read the question. This all has to be done in your mind before reading the question. Now read the question. Okay? Now read the question. Among several factors for India's growth potential. So we have established this is from point number 1 in GS3. Now try to break down this question or break this question down into various parts. Try to do it. Try to break it into parts. Try to break this into parts, into different parts. How will you break this into different parts? How many parts are there? So among several factors for India's growth potential, savings rate is the most effective one. This is one part, but there is no question here, right? In the first part, there is no question here. In the first part, there is no question. Are they asking any question in the first part? No. Second part, do you agree? Second part is, do you agree? So among several factors for India's potential growth, savings rate is the most effective one. Do you agree? So, but in the first part, there is no question as such. So you can combine 1 and 2 parts together. Yes, I agree that this thing. But, and of course, can you just leave yes, no, yes, yeah, no, after leaving yes or no, can you just move on to the next part? No, you have to justify. That is implied. Come on, that is implied. This is not school that if it is not asked, you won't answer that part. So amongst, strictly speaking, they are only asking yes or no. Do you agree? Yes. Do you agree? No. Simple. But you have to justify. Okay? So the first part, I am assuming, and this is also very subjective. See, we are doing our analysis. UPSC is not asking us to do this, or UPSC is not analyzing it in the way we are doing. But for making our study easy, so this is the first part. Second part is, what are the other factors available for growth potential? Second part is, what are the other factors available for growth potential? So there are 2 parts that you have to write. You have 110 words for the body. there are two pages, two sides rather. So now you only tell, you apply your brain and tell me. Chalo, you apply your brain and tell me, if you were the examiner, out of this 10, what would you allocate more marks to? Part 1 or part 2 or equal? You only tell. Part 1 or part 2 or equal? Think and tell. So part 1 is this. Do you agree and savings it? You have to justify whether yes or no. And trust me, in this answer, both are correct. Like you can say yes also, you can say no also. But what is the answer and all, I will tell you. What is the answer given by the government? First part is this. Second, what are the other factors available for growth potential? This is the second part. Which part would have more weightage? What do you think? Which part would have more weightage? What do you think? And why? See, that is why I wish you were here. We would have had a very good discussion. Huh? So naturally, the first part would have more weightage. Why? Because it requires you to apply your brain rather than simple range of information. You remember we had read in the notification, range of information and memory. So, do you agree? You have to justify here. So, you have to apply your brain, you have to support your answer here. So, that is why first part would have more weightage compared to what are the other factors available for growth potential. See, this is like a school, this question is like a school question. School questions are very simple and they carry less marks, the parts of the question. What are the other factors? You just have to list the factors and write 2 lines about them. Finish, done, khatam. They are not asking you to analyze each and every factor, whether this factor is good or bad, this factor is good or bad, this factor is important or not important. They are not asking. It is a 10 marker. How much they will ask? What are the other factors available for growth potential? Simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever are the other factors. We are not looking into content at all now. We are just trying to analyze the question. We are trying to break down the question of UPSC. So, I am giving this, I am personally I am giving this 6 plus 4. 6 for the first part, 4 for the second part. Okay? Now if a part is carrying 6 marks compared to second part which is carrying 4 marks, how many words you should allocate? Should you allocate less words to first part or more words to first part? More words to first part. Yes or no? Your space should be more. Your space, total space should be more for the first part. So now visualize where should your first part end. You can do 70-40 also. You can do 60-50 also. But more should be given to the first part. So let's say ki yahan pe you have 70 words left. So you finish your first part here. You justify the first part here. And then you start your second part about other factors. 1, 2, 3, 4 and then you write the conclusion. Okay? See, I'll tell you, most of the students have a problem in knowing where to end which part and where to start which part. You must be knowing the answer altogether. You start writing. You reach here and then you find out only this much space is left. You write the second part here, so no problem. But in this, what happens is you overshoot your time limit, you might overshoot your word limit and the weightage of the parts doesn't hold up. For example, suppose you know the second part better because you have read it, what are the other factors, you read an editorial about it in which they had analyzed the factors, you know the second factor very well. Okay? You try to finish the first part here and write the second part here. You list down all the factors you know. Instead of 4 or 5 factors, you write 10 factors. But do you think he will give you more marks? He will say you have not analyzed what is the substance of the question. You have just answered the second part very well, but not the first part. I'm not trying to tell you how to write an answer. This is not answer writing class. Answer writing class happens separately, wherein I will tell you what kind of headings are appropriate, what kind of what kind of words to prefer to be used or not to be used, what kind of diagrams can be drawn and all. That is not good. Just the basic process of analyzing the question paper is this. You need to read the question. So first step is you have to see the marks and the words. And you know that might also change. Today they are asking 150 words for 10 marks. Tomorrow they might ask 200 words for 10 marks. It is a possibility indeed. It is a distinct possibility. So please keep your eyes open, keep your brain open and keep yourself ready for changes. When you will do mock tests, when you will do answer writing, whatever you do, wherever you do, whenever you do, Please try to follow this approach. Read the question, see the marks, see the words, appropriate space accordingly, and then divide the question into parts. Think which syllabus point has it come from, then try to form an answer. Now I will tell you something very scary. For this 10 marker, you get around 7 minutes. Around. Okay, you can divide that. 360, you get 3 hours for the paper. Na? So, kitna hota? 60, 180 minutes you get, and you have 20 questions. So per word, how much time you get, and for a 10 marker, for 150 words, how much time you have to give. So around 7 minutes it comes to a 10 marker, 9.5 minutes for a 15 marker, approximately. Okay? So in 7 minutes, you have to read the question, you have to understand the question, you have to do the spacing, you have to allocate the word budgets, and you have to know when to start, when to stop, and then you have to write also. All this in 6 minutes. That is what makes this exam difficult. Okay? I told you the exam is not tough, it is just you need to put up your efforts. But once you do this in a very scientific way, in a very organized way, then things become relatively simpler. Otherwise, it is tough indeed. Okay? So imagine if you're doing in a haphazard manner. I read the questions. So if I told you to do analysis of previous year question, you just saw all the question papers, done, finished. What next? I will start reading books. I will read Uma Kapila, I will read all other big authors, and I will economics done. It's not how it works. No? You have to clear the exam. That is the aim. You don't have to do PhD, do thesis, or do research in the subject. Any subject, not only economics. In polity also. Do the syllabus by hearting, do the question paper mapping for all subjects. It will help you only. I have those 4 sheets, GS 1, 2, 3, 4 with me now also. And that is my to-go sheet whenever I have to refer to anything. Right? So once you do this entirely, now this process will become fairly automated by the time we move on with the question paper analysis. Okay? So what are the factors available for growth potential? So there are 2 parts to this question. Second part will have relatively lesser weightage compared to the first. First requires more brain application. Second requires more of rote learning and reproduction in the paper. Right? So second will have relatively less. This is first. Now in your sheet, where you have written the point numbers, in front of point number 1, please write 2017 question 1. 2017 question 1. If you have 2 colored pens, that is better. You can color this thing, red or blue or anything. You can color the 10 markers. You can write the 10 markers in one color and 15 markers in another color, so that analysis becomes much more interesting to look at and much more comprehensive. If not, it is fine. I mean, I had written all of them by green pen. All 10, 15, 12.5 markers also by green pen. That's okay. No problem. Please write 2017 question number 1 in front of point 1. Point 1 के बाजू में 2017 question number 1. Please write it. Okay? Now imagine you have this sheet of all 10 points with all the question numbers which are asked. That is when your study begins. That is when your preparation begins. That is when the right track, you are on the right track. Randomly, haphazardly studying only leads to a lot of wastage of all resources, be it time, be it money. You will gain knowledge, there is no doubt about it. But like I told now, this thing, reconciliation of know yourself and know your exam, this is the way to do it. Because we are doing only UPSC official this thing. We are not referring to any ready-made material on the website. We are not doing anything. Okay? We are not even referring to Levelup IAS material. We are directly diving into UPSC. Okay? Second question, we'll do second question. Right? Not second question. Second question nahi. So we saw 2017 question 1. अच्छा ठीक है, second ही है. Good. Second ही है. We saw 2017 question number 1. Now we are seeing 2017 question number 2. Now we are seeing 2017 question number 2. Now we are seeing 2017 question number 2. Right? Read this. I am giving you time to read. You only have to read. Do the syllabus linking. Which point, which sub point, how many parts, how many marks would be allocated to which part. Please do that. Quickly do that. Please do that quickly. Read the question, divide it into parts, and allocate marks. You only have to allocate marks. Allocate the marks. I will take you through budget, I will take you through finance commission reports, I will take you through some things of economic survey, I will take you through a lot of newspaper articles. I will do everything with you over the course of the lectures, but the only thing is that is all useless if you don't know what to write in these answers. How to apply all that what you read to this. So first we should know what are the boundaries. Account for the failure of manufacturing sector in achieving the goal of labor intensive exports. Suggest measures for more labor intensive rather than capital intensive exports. So account for the failure ka matlab, what is the meaning of account for the failure? Give reasons. Account for the failure means give reasons, give an account ki why this happened. So they are not asking whether manufacturing sector has failed in this aspect or not. They are asking ki why it has failed. Account for the failure of manufacturing sector in achieving the goal of labor intensive exports. What do you mean by labor intensive exports? More people are required to produce a commodity and then to export that, and suggest measures for more labor intensive rather than capital intensive exports. Suggest measures for more labor intensive rather than capital intensive exports. Right? Account for the failure of manufacturing sector in achieving the goal of labor intensive exports. Suggest measures for more labor intensive rather than capital intensive exports. Which means ki don't need to worry about the answer now, which means they are saying ki give reasons for why we have failed in generating more labor intensive exports, which means we employ more people in the production of those goods, and suggest measures for the same. Capital intensive means machinery, using machinery instead of humans, and labor intensive means using humans instead of machinery. Okay, the solution is to use both in harmony. But okay, we are not discussing solution now. We'll come back to these questions again after we have some content. Now you don't even have content to write. So now discussing the answer would be very futile, would be useless. Okay? Now we are just trying to analyze the mindset of UPSC. So first of all, tell me which syllabus point do you think this appears from? Which syllabus point and which syllabus sub point do you think this appears from? Which syllabus point and which syllabus sub point do you think this comes from? Account for the failure of manufacturing sector in achieving the goal of labor intensive exports. So this is the keyword. Labor intensive is the keyword here. Labor intensive relates to employment. Employment, does it appear in our syllabus? Yes, it does. It appears in point number 1. Yes or no? Indian issues and Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment. This question comes from the employment subpoint of the first point of our syllabus. Okay? Labor intensive hai. Now tell me, there are how many parts in the question? How many parts in the question? Give reasons. First part. Second part, suggest measures. There are 2 parts primarily. See, there can be more parts, there can be less parts. Primarily, roughly, we are doing this exercise. There are 2 parts. 1 and 2, 2 parts. Now what do you think? What is the breakup of this 10? Whether more would go for first part or more would go for second part. I will give you 10-15 seconds. Please think about it. The weightage of first part would be more or the weightage of second part would be more. See, I think honestly, the second part should have more weightage. Reason being, this is historical account for the failure. It is like give reasons, and you can write this easily by reading newspapers and all, because this keeps on coming in the newspaper, and this was discussed in that year's economic survey also. But what is forward looking? What requires you to apply your brain more is suggest measures. What needs to be done is more important than why earlier things have happened. So still, I feel that second part would be 6 marks and first part would be 4 marks. Accordingly, use space on your answer sheet. Suggest measures ka make a bigger portion in your answer compared to failure of manufacturing. Right? Again, I'm not discussing answer writing, so I'm not going into the nuances of diagram drawing, suitability of diagram drawing in what kind of questions and all. Those are all secondary questions for now. For now, you have taken admission in the foundation batch. This is your beginning. I'm going very slow. So far, we have seen the notification. We know the syllabus by heart, and we are now seeing the questions. And we are also seeing the primary process of answer writing. Okay? How much space to allocate to what question. This is what we have seen. We know that UPSC asks questions in parts. If UPSC expressly does not give questions in parts, we have to divide the questions in parts. I will come to that also when we see a suitable question. But for now, UPSC has already, in these two questions which you saw, UPSC has asked questions in parts only. Okay, in first question also, second question also, UPSC has asked questions in parts. Right? I hope you are with me. I hope you are appreciating this. I hope you are enjoying this. The only thing I don't know is I cannot see your faces now. I cannot see whether you have any doubt or not. So that is something which we have to get accustomed to. Otherwise, normally in online class or even on Zoom face-to-face class helps a lot. Otherwise, in online class it is very dry. But what can we do? And in physical class, I am also much more active, but now there is no one here. Only you guys are there watching through the camera, watching through your browser rather, not camera also. Okay, so 1, 2 done. So please write 2017 question 2 in point number 1. Please write 2017 question 2 in point number 1 of your syllabus, this thing. So now we have seen point number 1 ke aage what is written 2017 question 1, question 2. Okay, we have seen 2 questions. Ready for the next one? Yes, ready for the next one. Are we ready for the next one? Let us see 2016 question 1. 2016 question 1. Let us see 2016 question 1. First step before reading the question. What was the first step before reading the question? Okay, 200 words. Read the question once. We are looking at 2016 question 1. Please read the question once. Which syllabus point do you think it comes from? How globalization has led to the reduction of employment in the formal sector of the Indian economy. Is increased informalization detrimental to the development of the country? Right? So you might say it is from point 8 because it is effect of liberalization on Indian economy. You are absolutely right. You might say it is point 1 because of the word employment. You are also absolutely right. This has shades of both point number 1 and point number 10. Remember, I had told you effect of liberalization on Indian economy. What do we mean by Indian economy is growth, mobilization, planning, development. So they are asking effect of globalization on growth, effect of globalization on or liberalization on employment. That is what they have asked directly here. Okay? For me personally, I have written this in point number 1 because it primarily talks about employment. So all employment related questions I have written in point number 1. Before that, how globalization has led to a reduction of employment in the formal sector. I hope you can understand what are they asking. No need to worry about the reasons or the answer, but what are they asking? Normal English. How globalization has led to the reduction of employment in the formal sector of the Indian economy. Now, what is formal, what is informal, that also we will study. But they are asking ki globalization has led to reduction. They are not asking ki whether, they are asking how, which means they are telling you globalization has led to a reduction in the formal employment. Barabar hai? How? So you have to give reasons. And second is increased informalization. This phenomena, lesser of formal but more informal, detrimental to the development of the country. They are asking second part. Is increased informalization detrimental to the development of the country? That is the second part. Okay. Is increased informalization detrimental to the development of the country? Second part. Now what do you think? What would be the weightage of marks? What do you think? What should be the weightage of marks? Or what would be the weightage of marks for these two parts? Are there any other parts? No, I don't think there are only two parts. No? How globalization has led, give reasons, and is increased informalization detrimental to the development? Yes, no. So here you have to write yes, no. Again, can you leave after writing, leave it like that, after writing yes and after writing no? No, you have to give reasons. So here also give reasons. Give reasons in the first part, give reasons in the second part. No, informalization is not detrimental. Yes, informalization is detrimental. By the way, the answer is yes, definitely. You cannot, you should not write no, because economic theory and literature suggest that yes, informalization is detrimental. But we will read that answer when we'll cover inflation, employment and all those chapters, poverty and all, we'll cover them, don't worry. Okay? So now, how globalization has led to the reduction and is increased. So both may you have to give reasons. If you ask me, I will give 0.5 to 1 marks more to the second part compared to the first part. But let's settle at equal, because both are important. How globalization has led to the reduction of employment is increased informalization detrimental. Since this is more forward looking, I gave 0.5 to 1 mark more, but this is also very important. The effect of globalization, it is not that straightforward to think upon. 1 or 2 points you might think, but other than that, very less ready-made content you will have on the first part also. So let us give it 12 and a half. Kitna? 6.5, 6.5. Let us give it 6 for first, 6, more or less equal. Okay? So please write this in point 1 only. Please write this, I would suggest write this in point 1 only. Point 1 mein likh do 2016 question 1. Again employment. So we have seen 2 questions on employment. One informal, formal employment. And इसके पहले वाला हमने कौन सा देखा था 2017 में कैपिटल इंटेंसिव वाला एक्सपोर्ट वाला on employment. Okay, there are two questions on employment out of 3. We have seen 3 questions total, 2 on employment so far. So far, anything out of the syllabus? No, everything from the syllabus only. 2016 question 1, please write in front of point number 1. Done. Let us move on to the next question. It is so heavy, I know it is very heavy, but this is the way to do it. After you write everything, after we complete our sheet, maybe the next day you can go through all the questions once more, because this is the only resource you have which UPSC has given. UPSC does not even give answer to these questions. UPSC gives answers to prelims questions, but not these questions, not mains questions. Okay? Next question we are seeing is 2016 only. Since we are in 2016 only, this paper only, question number 5. This paper only, question number 5. Now, if you were here, I would have genuinely given you a small chocolate if you are able to guess which syllabus point does this question come from. Question 5 we are seeing, same paper 2016, question 5 we are seeing. If you were here, I would have given you a chocolate. Chota wala, not big chocolate, small chocolate. If you guess which syllabus point is this coming from. Read the question, take a minute, read the question, take a minute. आराम से. Justify the need for FDI for the development of Indian economy. Why there is a gap between MOUs signed and actual FDI. Suggest remedial steps to be taken for increasing actual FDIs in India. Sir, too complex question. What is FDI? We don't know. Foreign direct investment, only that much we know, but what to write and all. Before that, FDI is foreign direct investment, which means foreign ka paisa, foreign funds. Okay? Simple. No, there is no rocket science behind it. So now, with this knowledge, it is talking about foreign funds. Tell me which syllabus point will it fall under? And I am telling you, it is directly falling under a syllabus point. ऐसा भी नहीं, it is not that indirectly we are trying to fit it into a particular point. So earlier, na, I'll tell you. Earlier, 13-14 papers में, they used to ask syllabus points से directly a question. 1 point, 1 question. Nowadays, they are asking, then after 2016, 17, 18, they started asking combination of 2 points. Directly from the syllabus, but combination of 2 points. For example, like we saw the previous question, effect of globalization on reduction of formal employment in the country. That has colors of 0.8 plus 0.1, 1 plus 8. Now what they are doing is since 2020 they have started 19 or 20 they have started doing it. They ask a question which is a combination of 1 point from GS3 and another point from GS2 or GS1. So we will see that also. But just to keep in mind that GS3 is not isolated. Economics is not isolated. Economics fits in the broad realm of GS3, which fits in the broad realm of general studies. GS1, 2, 3, 4. So they can be connected and a question can be asked which is connecting all of them. Okay? So FDI, now I'll tell you, they are talking about first part says why there is a need for foreign funds for the development of the Indian economy. Okay? So now you might see some keyword like development. Is development there in point 1? Yes, development is there in point 1. Now what about FDI? Like I told you, FDI is foreign funds. Okay? There is a phrase in point number 1 called as mobilization of resources. I hope you understand mobilization of resources. What is mobilization of resources? What is mobilization of resources? We talked about yesterday. Flow of money from one place to another is mobilization. What is happening in FDI? Mobilization of resources from one place, from the foreign country to our country. Money is flowing in. So need for FDI for the development of Indian economy. Point number 1 में mobilization of resources, development है, but the substance is FDI, right? Substance is not development. We are not talking about elements of development, parameters of development, how India can develop and all. The question is about FDI. So learn to know the substance of the question. In prelims, this is the most important thing, to know the substance of the question. In mains, it is a rare thing that you will be confused with the substance of the question. But in this case, the substance is FDI. So this will come in point number 1. But it also has little bit of shading of point number 10, investment models. Yes or no? It also has an element of investment models, because ultimately it is investment models. How will FDI, what is MOU? MOU is Memorandum of Understanding. It is basically an agreement wherein the clauses will be given. Okay, I will give you this, you give me this. This much will be the period of investment. This much will be the return. Funds will be used for these purposes, and so on and so forth. So Memorandum of Understanding is the agreement. FDI is the fund. So this MOU terms and conditions, they also fall, or they also give a shade of point number 10 of GST, which is investment model. So that is one. Secondly, most importantly, it is mobilization of resources. Now let us come back at the question and divide it into parts. Justify the need for FDI for the development of the Indian economy. Why there is a gap between MOUs signed and actual FDIs. So first part is this. Justify the need for FDI for the development of Indian economy. So again, they are not asking you whether FDI is needed for the development of Indian economy or not. See, read English. Whether FDI is needed for development or not, they are not asking your opinion. They are asking you directly to justify. Next step they are asking. It is important, no doubt. Now justify. So give reasons, basically justify the need, give reasons why FDI is needed. Very good. Second part, why there is a gap between MOUs signed and actual FDIs. हाँ, agreement तो हो जाते हैं, agreements are done कि we will invest 15,000 crores, we will invest 50,000 crores in your country, but actual flow or actual fund flow does not happen. So why? Why there is a gap between MOUs signed and actual FDIs? Second part. Third part, suggest remedial steps to be taken for increasing actual FDIs, not MOUs, but actual FDIs in India. Right? So now from the question, like I told you since the first question, we should take content from the questions also. So we have seen question on informalization. We have seen that globalization affects the formal sector economy. We have seen question on FDI now, that there is a gap between actual FDI and MOUs signed. So one of the drawback of India FDI is that actual FDI mobilization is very less. We are not saying that, question is saying that. So you can write that one note down somewhere, so that whenever a question on FDI comes, you can literally use this line in your answer itself. Right? Cool. Why there is a gap between MOUs signed and actual FDIs? Suggest remedial steps to be taken for increasing actual FDIs in India. Now tell me which part will have the highest marks out of 3. Which part will have the highest? Is there any other part? I don't think so. There is no other part. Which part will have the highest marks? Justify the need, give reasons is the first part. Why there is a gap in the second part. And suggest remedial steps to be taken for increasing actual FDIs in India. The first part is the easiest part of them all. Anyone can say, anyone with the basic understanding of FDI or basic understanding of funds and development can give some reasons for why FDI is needed for development. So we will give least marks to the first part. So this will have the priority number 3. Last priority will be given to the first part, right? Why there is a gap between MOUs signed and actual FDIs? Again, you have to give reasons. Now this is tricky because this is entirely current based. You will not find the answer to this question in textbooks. Now you might find, but when this question appeared, the textbooks back then, the earlier versions of the textbooks did not have this. So you always bear in mind, I will give you one very useful tip. If you think a book has questions, a book has answers to all the past questions, so that means that book is good. That is not the case, because after the exam happens, they update that question and they update that answer also in some chapter, or then add a new chapter because of that one question, and then they release the new edition of the book. So now you are saying, this is there in Lakshmikant, this is there in Lakshmikant, all the questions are there in Lakshmikant. It is not the case. Many questions have come in Lakshmikant after the exam. After question paper, that year, the new edition was released with the additional matter, question, answer, text, whatever. Okay, so always keep that in mind. It happens in environment, it happens in polity, it happens in economy, it happens in culture, so many things. Any book you take, you might think now, it is given in the paper. 2014 when it was asked, it is given in this book. But that matter is there in the book after 2014. Similarly, in 2019, if something was asked and you find an answer, chances are that it is added after this. Because most of these subjects are dynamic, they are current based, they require an extensive reading of newspaper. I'll speak about newspaper and I will speak about this thing. Book list ke time I will speak about newspaper also in the end. First, let us focus on the questions. So, second, why there is a gap? Give reasons. Now, this is a very current based thing. You will not find the answer to this. So, this is a tricky one. So, this is tough. Second part is tough. Suggest remedial steps. Again, this is the most forward looking. This is the most important part, because even if you know the reason, if you don't know the remedial steps, what will happen? So, we'll allocate first priority to the third part. Second part will get second priority, and accordingly marks would be distributed. So accordingly space should be distributed in your answer. Please give more space to the suggest remedial measures. Do not start writing in Josh and at the last one paragraph space mein don't start your third part. Just imagine the havoc. You have written 1 page on need for FDI, you have written half page on this thing, gap of MOUs, and you are left with only 1/4 page or lesser than that for remedial steps to be taken. Just imagine how many marks you will get now. Examiner will say steps are only 3, reasons are 10. Kaise chalega? How it will work? You are giving reasons of failure 10, but remedial steps you are suggesting only 3. Okay, that is why this analysis becomes very important. Barabar? That is why visualizing the space is very important. That is why preparing before writing. See, before writing only we know all this. So when you start writing, you know when to stop, you know when to start the second part. It is the most helpful thing I have ever followed. And nobody taught me this. I'll be very honest with you. Nobody taught me this. This is my own way of streamlining things while writing the answer. So what problem I used to face is, now I don't face, that I did not complete the papers. Half answer, one answer, I used to be left because of time crunch. And many times what happened was I did not give proper weightage to all the parts of the question. So if I know a question very well, for example on GST, if I know a question very well, I will write the first part, second part very well. Third part, I know the third part very well, but no space, no time. And in the pursuit of making that answer perfect, since I know it, I used to lose a lot of time. So that is why I devised this method. Before only allocate the space, allocate the marks, know when to stop. Even if you know more 10 points on that part, stop there, start the second part. See, examiner doesn't know that you know only 2 points of this part, or you know more 20 points. He doesn't care. What he cares is what have you written. If you have written a very wholesome answer, equal parts mein, according to the weightage that you think is important, if you have dedicated the space and if you have written well, you will get marks. Okay? But all that goes for answer writing more. So when we do answer writing practice, I will speak more on it. Now just concern yourselves with the allocation and syllabus point mapping, right? Please write this 2016 question number 5. Please write it in your point 1 only, because it is mobilization of resources. This was an entirely, let me tell you for your information, this was an entirely current affairs based question. In 2015 end, there was a summit called Magnetic Maharashtra, which was one of the first after the new government had taken the charge of office in 2014. So one of the biggest summits of investment held in India was in Maharashtra, Magnetic Maharashtra Summit, and lot of FDI was mobilized. What happened? So this was in 2015 end, and after let's say 6 months, in 2016 June mid something, there were a lot of newspaper reports where they said that Magnetic Maharashtra mein lot of FDI, a lot of MOUs were signed for FDIs, but actual work has still not happened. 6 months have passed, but this is not happening. Summit is not happening. Mobilization of resources is not happening. Actual FDI is not coming in. What is the government doing? What are the problems? And the solutions, the reasons, and everything had come in newspaper. And hence this question appeared in 2016. After 2-3 months after those newspaper articles, this question came in. So don't think that this is a very tough question. Don't think that it is not there in the books. It does not have to be there in the books, because it is a very current affairs based question, and the loudness about the current affairs of this particular topic was sufficient that you are prepared with that question that year. So don't think you can't write this answer now. You cannot write this answer now, because now in the newspaper these things do not come. Whatever is coming now, that they will ask. There is a possibility that they might ask some old thing also, but that is a 1 in 10 chance, 10% chance. You don't have to worry about that. Even in prelims, even in mains, there is a chance that that might happen. But just don't be scared. What they are asking. See, when we see all the questions together, we see, they are asking this, they are asking that. But this answer source we don't come to know. I'll tell you, informalization, the question which we saw, effect of globalization on informal sector. The answer for that was given in the preface of that year's economic survey. An economic survey, a preface may some points were given. I'm not saying the entire answer was given, but 4 or 5 good points were given, and you could have written those in the exam and got good marks. I do that only. So don't be scared of the questions. Just see what kind of questions they are asking. Just see the way questions are being framed. Just observe them. Just know your enemy. You are getting a one-way view with your enemy. Your enemy is not attacking back now. Your enemy will attack on the day of the exam. So now just observe the enemy. Kaisa bana hai? In clothes store they say na, chhu ke dekhiye, so soft. Just try to feel the question. Hai na? 2016 question 5, point number 1 done. Very good. Next we come to 2015 question number 1. 2015 question number 1. 2015 question number 1. So I'm taking a mix of, I'm not going chronologically, I'm taking a mix. So after 15 we might go to 19, 20, 18, whatever. So that there is no particular bias. That time they used to ask this question, now they are asking. Aisa nahi hai, there is no bias. They can ask any type of question. 2015 question number 1. Right? This is also of 200 words. Go ahead, read the question. Read the question. 2015 question number 1. What do you think about this? The nature of economic growth. So now, of course, the keyword is growth. The keyword is jobless. Right? The nature of economic growth in India in recent times is often described as jobless growth. Do you agree with this view? Give arguments in favor of your answer. So first of all, this has a shade of both employment, because jobless, and economic growth also, problems of growth. Okay, so that, of course, point 1 में growth and employment both है इसमें. More of a substances of growth, because it's an issue of growth. So issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment. Issue relating to growth is that it is a jobless growth. Growth is happening, but the nature of growth is jobless growth. ठीक है, more, if you ask me, more issue is relating to jobless or more fitting is growth, but point 1 is common for growth and employment. So I told you 70% of our syllabus is point 1 and point 8 combined. 70% of our syllabus. So baki points, just forget those points for now. Enjoy point 1 and point 8. 70% of our study goes to point 1 and 8 only. Nature of economic growth in India in recent times is often described as jobless growth. Chalo. First part. Second part. Now this is not a second part actually. If you see this, this is an extension of first part only, because now normally we were assuming that they are asking yes, no, and we were giving reasons on our own. Is it not? That makes this question a very tough question. Why? If there are 3 parts, you can easily go up to 200 words. There is only one part in the question. Do you agree that jobless growth is happening? That is the crux of the question. Do you agree that recent growth which is happening is jobless? Simple. One part, 200 words. Difficult question. Content is easy, question is very difficult. It is very easy for us to repeat points in such kind of question, which makes the answer look a little bit not so qualitative. See, in school what happens? First point we repeat using different words as 8th point. And now we write 6 points, very unique points, and 2-3 points we pick up from the top and we change the words and write it down. 10 points answer. Wow, so big answer. Madam, supplement answer. We took supplement, we wrote answer. But those 4 points were repetitions of the first 4 points, but in different words, different examples. UPSC that does not work. The examiner will catch you. See, he is examining UPSC level papers since so many years, and he is examining those papers together also. Not only one paper. He after you, before you, so many papers he is examining. So he will carry repetition of point. That makes this question a difficult question. But what can we take from this question as content for future answers? Jobless. This word, this keyword. You must have seen keywords are very important in answers. Keywords, fancy words, flashy words are important in answers. See, why keywords are important is they help you achieve Remember, we have seen the 3 adjectives which were given: relevant, meaningful, and succinct. So the third part helps you, keywords help you in achieving the third part. Why? Because once you use keywords and once you use technical words, a little bit technical words, then you can convey more in less words, leaving you with more time and more space to either write more or move on to the next question. I hope you understand this. It is very important to use keywords or succinct words or write in a succinct manner, so that you don't waste a lot of time and lot of space on your paper explaining only one concept. If you use 5 lines to explain one concept, it is of no use. Again, I'm sorry, I'm going into answer writing, but you need to know this now only. Your study, your notes should be such. Notes making pe bhi I am going to speak to you, especially with respect to economics. I am going to speak to you, but all in good time, my friends, all in good time. Nature of economic growth in India in recent times is often described as jobless growth. So jobless growth is a keyword which we have to use it in our future answers, not to this question, in some other question. Jobless growth is a keyword which we have to pick up. Okay? So do you agree with this? You give arguments in favor of your answer. This entire question is one big part. Right? So you have to write the answer accordingly. I'm not discussing the answer, how you approach and all that becomes a part of answer writing, not really the mandate of our current lecture. Please write this in your point number 1 only. 2015 question number 1. So if you notice 2017 question 1, 2016 question 1, 2015 question 1 have been coming from point number 1 GS3. Does that mean this trend will repeat? No. Does that mean that this trend is likely to repeat? Yes. Will repeat? Nahin. Likely to repeat? Yes. 15 question 1, 16 question 1, 17 question 1 and all straightforward from syllabus points. Growth, employment, growth, employment, growth, employment, mobilization of resources. Okay? We'll move on to the next. Yes or no? I can't hear you, but I'm assuming you are saying yes. So normally, you know, I teach in remote places also, Chhattisgarh, Arunachal Pradesh, Kashmir, for those children who are not privileged enough to have this technology or have access to good quality teachers. And so I go there and I teach. And I also teach. So once I was teaching, I remember I was teaching in, I think Tripura or Assam, I was teaching somewhere. And there were 70, 80 students, more than 80 students. So big class, 80 to 100 students. And when I said, you know, yes or no, they were just screaming, yes sir, yes sir. So it was so loud. And contrast to that, see this. I am asking yes sir, but I don't hear a single voice. COVID has wreaked havoc to different people in different manners and different degrees. Okay? Chalo. Since we are in 2015, let us see one more question, which is 2015 question number 7. This file is very weird. Okay, 2015 question 7. 2015 question 7. Read it. Syllabus point. Please tell me the syllabus point. It will be very helpful and kind of you if you tell me the syllabus point. Please do that. Please read the question. Aram se. Sir, please shut up. We want to read. Why are you constantly speaking? Okay, I will shut up for a few seconds. Craze for gold in Indians has led to a surge in import of gold in recent years and put pressure on the balance of payments and external value of rupee. So sorry. Balance of payment. Gold, import, balance of payments, external value, which is the exchange rate. External value is the exchange rate. $1 is 75 rupees and so on. In view of this, finally what they have asked. Now tell me how many parts to this question. Okay, sorry. Before that, which syllabus point? Which syllabus point? Yes, friends, which syllabus point? Batao, tell me. Which syllabus point is this coming from? What do you think? It is point number 1. Again, it is mobilization of resources. Is gold import is balance of payments, not mobilization of resources? Is it not relating to money moving or rather gold moving from here and there? Now you must have read that sovereign gold bond scheme has also come in, and sovereign gold bonds are available right now at 4,849 rupees per gram or something like that. It's a bit on a higher side, I feel, the investment and all. Okay? So this is mobilization of resources. Resources are flowing in the economy, no? Gold, and out of the economy also. Due to gold, money is flowing out. Mobilization of resources. If FDI can come in, mobilization of resources, what is going out? Foreign direct investment or foreign investment in India. This is investment, Indian investment outside. Not even investment, Indian spending outside. Okay? So this is a question of balance of payment. Mobilization of resources. Point number 1. Now the question is how many parts? The question is how many parts? Kitne parts? Kitne आदमी थे? How many parts? How many parts do you think? Bolo bachcho. How many parts? I feel one part is the merits of gold monetization scheme. It is very straightforward. The second part is you have to explain how or the reasons. See, they have not asked you here the reasons for craze for gold in Indians. They have not asked. But just imagine, if you are reading a newspaper article on gold monetization scheme, how do you think, or a big piece on it, how do you think it will start? It will start with the word like Indians love gold, big fat weddings or celebrations like festivals like Diwali and all. Gold is quintessential in Indian homes. Like that, they will start the news, right? Similarly, we also have to not exactly justify, but we have to give a few reasons for why this is happening. Not why it is pushing a pressure or balance of payment. That is economic, like that is established. But why is there a craze for gold in Indians? This is part 1. This is the hidden part, not asked directly, but this should be addressed. Since it is a 12.5 marker, had this been a 10 marker, 1-2 points for this is enough. Since it is 12.5 marker, you have to write at least 3-4 points here. Then second part coming in merits. So due to what are you doing is, in first part you are giving these all are the issues, and to address that, to address the adverse BOP, balance of payment situation and external value situation, government has brought in this scheme, and then these are the merits of this. That is how you link 2 parts. Again, not going in depth for answer writing purpose, right? Now, most important, please pay attention here. Hello, please pay attention here. Stop looking at your mobile. Please pay attention here. In view of this, examine the merits of the gold monetization scheme. See, this scheme was launched in 2015. This question came in 2015. It is a current based thing. So don't worry about that. Merits of, what have they asked? Have they asked features? Have they asked background? Have they asked merits? Have they asked demerits? Have they asked performance? What they have asked? They have asked the merits of gold monetization scheme. So any scheme which will release or which will be put into effect this year in 2021 and next year 22, you have to know the merits. At least you have to know the merits. They are not asking features. Please bear in mind, do not write features here. This will be 2.5% will be a fixed rate of interest and so on and so forth. That is not what they are asked. Merits they have asked. So you have to reword those things. Merits of the scheme, how it will benefit, that is given. Merits has been given. Merits of the scheme. Merits means plus points. Now again avoiding the temptation of going into answer writing, you should end the answer on by saying that these are the merits, but still a lot needs to be done. 2-3 more things need to be done. So, but just forget about that for now. This is the second part. Of course, 12 and half marker hai. More weightage goes to this because this is directly asked, this is not directly asked. So out of 12 and half, we can say ki this has somewhere around 4 and half, and this has the remaining 8 marks. Merits. Now what makes this question tough? Again, 2015 only. What makes this question tough is very less parts are there to write the answer. कितना merit लिखोगे? How many merits will you write? 5, 6? What after that? Same merits in different words? नहीं ना. That makes this a little bit difficult question. Since it's a 200 words, if it was 150 words, this question had been a little bit simpler. But ठीक है. Always remember, if it is difficult for you, it is difficult for everyone, because everyone reads almost the same resources, practices almost the same amount of time. And I'm talking about those top 50,000 people who actually do study, not the other ones. Okay? Please write 2015 question number 7 in your point 1. Please write 2015 question number 7 in your point 1. We are going very slowly, because if we don't do this, entire year you will enjoy, you will study, and at the end, you will not get marks. I have been getting marks. I follow this approach. So believe me. Craze for gold in Indians has led to a surge in import of gold in recent years and put pressure on BOP, external value of rupee. We'll read about BOP, we'll read about external value of rupee. Don't worry about those things. Just know that this was the scheme. So if this is the scheme that was released that year, which means there would be editorials in newspaper, there would be discussion in that paper about the merits, demerits, there would be videos on YouTube by Rajya Sabha and all on this topic. They would obviously discuss why this scheme is required. The main purpose was craze for gold. Why craze for gold is there? Newspaper will have your answer. Textbook will not have your answer. Reference book will not have your answer. So do not worry about those books. Do not worry about big Kuller and not Kuller, but Uma Kapila, and there are so many books, big books which are available. Please do not read them. You only have 1 year. You only have few months. 10 to 12 months for the exam, and economics is not the only subject you have to prepare. You have to prepare everything from culture to history. History, though, I don't know why they have history in the syllabus. It doesn't end only. It does not have a start. It does not have an end. It is just there. Everything is there in history. Okay, this I am trying to draw a boundary line for our economics syllabus. Otherwise, economics also in general, economics is a free flow ocean. You can go as deep as you want. I will take you as deep as you want in a particular concept. I will leave some concepts by just touching the feet with water. Ki haan, dekh lo, feel le lo, and take the feel and go. Because as per UPSC requirements, I will do that. But if I'm teaching something and if you need more information about that, you can always contact me personally, and I will be more than happy. I do reply. Might not be immediately, but I do reply. And I will take you as deep in the concept as you want. I'll give you all the knowledge and information as you want, but do that on your own time, not as a part of preparation. Okay? So 2015 question 7, please write that in your point number 1. Very good, done. Okay, cool. So we have seen a lot of question 1s, right? 2015 1, 16 1, 17 1. Let us see one more one more question number 1. Let us go to 2019 question number 1. 2019 question number 1. This file is nice. This scrolls very smoothly. That 15 one has a problem. Its scanning DPI would be very high, I think. That is why it is causing processing power problems. Chalo, read the question very fast. You know the drill. Read the question. Question 1, no? 2019, we are at 2019 question number 1. Please read the question. We are at 2019 question number 1. Which syllabus point do you think it comes from? Which syllabus point? It is again mobilization of resources. Money flowing, taxes are the source of money. GST, indirect taxes, direct taxes, sir, what is that? I will explain absolutely everything in detail. We will do that. We have 2-3 sessions only on taxation. Just imagine, one for direct, one for indirect, and one for anything if it is left. We have a detailed schedule for that. Don't worry about that. But they are talking about taxes, which means it is mobilization of resources, which means again the first question has come from the first point. Okay? Enumerate the indirect taxes which have been subsumed under GST in India. So this is the school question, na? This is school question. Enumerate means list the indirect taxes that have been subsumed in GST in India. List de do. Also comment. Also comment. What is your view, or just say something on the revenue implications, the positive, the negative. It can be a positive implication, negative implications of GST since 2017. Basically, what they are asking is what has been the performance of GST, yes or no? Any new scheme, any new act, anything which is asked, what they ask is the background, is the intention, objective or the intention, merit, demerit, features and limitations, and the performance. How has it performed? So, this was introduced 16 में GST. So since 16-17 they are asking कि 2 years का performance बताओ. In 2019 it is asked, and GST is always in news, and GST is always in news. It is a very current topic. There is nothing static about taxes. So this is very school-like. Enumerate है, list down है. This is very school-like first part, and comment on the revenue implications of the GST. This is the second part. What do you think requires more brain, this or this? The second part requires more brain. First part requires only memory, madam. First part requires only memory. Less marks to first part, more marks to second part. Asked in 2019, one of the easiest questions that could have been asked. And so those who are thinking कि easy questions used to come earlier, 14, 15, 16, now only tough questions come. Please, that is a very big misconception. ऐसा नहीं है. It is not like that. Easy questions come in 2019 also. Easy questions came in 2020 also. Easy questions will come in 2021 and 22 also. Difficult questions will also come. The paper is always set at a balanced level. If it is tough for everyone. If it is easy for everyone, it is easy. Second part, I hope you agree with me that second part would have more application of brain, because they are asking your comment. They are not saying to give reasons or anything on the revenue implications. So it is making you think now. It is making you think. First part is not making you think. First part is making you recollect. क्या क्या था? No thinking, just writing it down. Second part, अच्छा, you have to think. Out of 10, 150. Of course, it will be 6-4, or even it can be 7-3 also. 7 for the second part, 3 for the first part, or 6-4. Right? Again, mobilization of resources. It also has a shade of government budgeting. Because of fiscal policies and all, they also come under government budgeting. But I prefer to put it in point number 1, because in government budgeting, direct questions on budget are asked. This is not a direct question on budget itself. This is a question on performance of revenue in the economy, which is resources. That is why I suggest you put this in point 1. It is very flexible that way, because this is what we are doing. It is not rigid. In fact, I will tell you that some of the questions also fall under GS2. If you didn't know that this is under GS3, you would say that this is a GS2 question. Right? Point number 1, 2019 question 1. Please write it. It's easy. List of indirect tax which have been subsumed, they have asked. And what are the revenue? What is the performance basically? What are the revenue implications? Matlab, how is GST doing well? Is it doing well on what count? So yes, it is doing well on 1, 2, 3 points. No, it is not doing well on 1, 2, 3 points. 1, 2, 3 points need to be adjusted or need to be amended or need to be taken care of. 7, 8 points would be your answer. Done, finished. So easy. 2019 question 1 finished. Next 2019 ही है, I think 2019 में question 2. Oh, 2019 question 2. Read this very quickly. Read this. Do you agree with the view that steady GDP growth and low inflation have left the Indian economy in a good shape? Give reasons. Okay? Now, it seems that it is only one part. So, pehle to which syllabus point, which do you think? First point is very easy. Growth and all, inflation and all, it all affects growth only. So, growth, it is a point, it is a first point. Okay? So, it seems initially that it is from point 1. It has only one part. It initially seems because they have said ki, do you agree? And give reasons. This is usually one point. Only one part. Right? You have to divide this question into 2 parts. What can be the 2 parts? Just think and tell me what can be the 2 parts. What do you think can be, what are the 2 parts? क्या लगता है? Two concepts, 2 parts. Steady GDP growth का effect on the Indian economy, whether it is good, bad, do you agree, no, that is not a part of our discussion now, whether it is yes, no, because once I will tell you what are the parameters of GDP, what happens in GDP, how to measure growth and all of that, then we'll be able to answer little bit. Okay? See, trust me, there is a reason why you are getting this 10 months or 1 year of time to prepare. There is a reason for that, or more than 1 year, in fact. The reason is you will reach this stage after putting in so much of time. उसका reason ही है. If this would have been answerable in 1 month of study, then UPSC wouldn't have given you so much of time. Are you understanding this? So, today if you write the answer to this or this question, 3 months down the line if you write the answer, 6 months down the line if you write the answer, 1 year down the line if you write the answer, your answer will change drastically. But provided that you have to put in the efforts, you have to write it, you have to analyze it, you have to keep rectifying your mistakes and then going ahead. And the most important part of it is you have to stay motivated. That is very important. ठीक है? Okay? We'll go ahead. हाँ, तो 2 part है. So you have to write about GDP growth effect on Indian economy and low inflation's effect on Indian economy, and then you can correlate them in a 3rd part, and then you can say, okay, this is there. These are the various approaches of writing an answer. Give reasons in support of your arguments. Obviously, if they did not ask, then also we will give reasons in support of our arguments. Because just writing yes or no, you know that meme you must be seeing in a lot of videos in from that Munna Bhai MBBS, that one short clip of Sanjay Dutt saying nahi. So that he asked कि क्या मैं पूछ सकता हूँ कि ये बेड यहाँ क्या क्यों लाया? And he said nahi. ठीक है? So that is you can't approach this answer that way. Do you agree with the view that steady growth and low inflation have left uh, the Indian economy in a good shape? No. Done. Next question. Please don't do that. You will not get marks because then the examiner will also say कि क्या मुझे आपको marks देने चाहिए? नहीं. And then move ahead. Give reasons in support of your arguments. You have to give reasons in support of your arguments. Please write 2019 question 1, 2019 question 2 in your point number 1. Please write that 2019 question 1 and 2019 question 2 in point number 1. It is very important to write 2019 question 1 and 2019 question 2. Trust us here at our classes that we will not let your precious time and money go waste. Whatever we are doing is very important, and even if you don't want to study, we will force you to study, so you have to, but provided that we don't follow the culture of spoon feeding. सब कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. You have to do things on your own. See, I could have given you this sheet of this mapping and I would have told you just take it for your reference. But what is the use if we don't do this? If we don't divide into parts, learn to budget the marks, learn to budget the words. Okay? This is smart work. Before starting the preparation, this is knowing your enemy. You have to know how many motion sensor alarms are involved, how many, before looting a bank, you have to know which safe is there, where is the manager sitting. You have to know the lay of the land. Before an F1 race track, you have to check the track, where are the steep turns, where you will brake and where you will accelerate. It's the same thing. Okay? So next, we are only on point 1, but trust me, 70% of the questions are coming from point 1. So we are going to stay in point 1 only. Don't worry about that. 2016 हो गया, 15 हो गया, 17 हो गया, 19 हो गया. Okay, let me take you way back. Let me take you way back to 2014. 2014. Let me take you again. Question 1. Again question 1. 2014 question 1. This question 1 comes from point number 1 only. 2014 question number 1. Okay, 2014 question number 1. What is the quality of this scanning? I am very I don't know. It's very funny. It is 200 words. It is 12 and a half. They did not even write every question पे 12 and a half. They said 12 and a half into 20. समझ लो आप. See this, please see this. It is not more. It is strictly to be adhered to. They are given in caps, not more than 200 words. Please adhere to the word limit. Please do that. They are empowered. The examiners are empowered to give you 0 marks if you cross 200 word limit. They don't do so very often, but why to take risk? Anyways, 200 words likhenge. When will we finish the paper? Right? So 200 words, 12 and a half. What did I say? Question 1. Read this. Question 1. Read question 1. Please read question 1. Please read question 1. Just a small tip. 2014 was a paper where questions were like paragraphs. 2014 was the only paper where questions were like paragraphs. 3-4 sentences ka question, 4-5 sentences ka question. Anyways, continue. Not to disturb you. First of all, which point? Which point? Point number 8. Yes, very good. Point number 8. Point number 1 also, because Indian economy And so this is an issue with the Indian economy, that our sectors are not properly transitioning. Normally an economy goes from primary agriculture to secondary manufacturing to tertiary services to quaternary research and all those sectors. Normally it does that. Indian economy has not done that. Reasons and all not important now. We are going to see that anyways. So normally countries shift from agriculture, industry and data to services, but India has shifted directly from agriculture to services. What are the reasons for the huge growth of service sector vis-a-vis industry? That is the first part. What are the reasons for the huge growth of service sector vis-a-vis the industry? That is one. That is two. Sorry. Normally, countries shift from agriculture to industry and then later to services, but India has shifted directly. What are the reasons for the huge growth of services? Can India become a developed country without a strong industrial base? So this is again right in point 1 only. 2014 question number 1, right in point 1. And this was based, I remember, because when I had researched about it, or I did not research, I asked my senior who gave 2014 exam. My senior, I had asked him about how did you write. So he told me that there was a big editorial in Indian Express, or I don't know, or Hindu or Indian Express, and most of the question was verbatim picked up from that editorial only, right? So he was telling me that time I was also doing this analysis for the first time. I had seen the papers, I had taken the printout of the papers, and I had asked him. So he said that is why newspapers, especially in economics and agriculture. See, economics and agriculture, if you read newspaper now, most of the points you will get, most of the answers you will be able to get. But the only thing is how to organize them, how to catalog them, and how to make them concise. That is the challenge. And we will see that when we talk about notes making and when we talk about sources and all. Okay, let us focus on this. How many points normally countries shift? What are the reasons? This is first part. And second, can India become a developed country without a strong industrial base? This is the second part. Okay. Now, obviously, what are the reasons? Reasons is like school, give reasons. They requires, this question particularly requires some of the analysis, but lot more memory. But can India become a developed country without a strong industrial base? No. You cannot leave with at that. You have to give reasons here also. So here also you have to give reasons, but this give reasons is much more complicated, much more analytical, much more time consuming in the exam when you write the answer than the first part. So out of 12 and a half, I think we should give 7 to the second part and 5 to the first part. 5.5. Okay? That is what our understanding is. We are doing, because second is, so see, in one line or half sentence they have asked a very tough question. Can India become a developed country without a strong industrial base? Answer is very easy, nahi. But uska the reasons are very difficult to justify. So you can also add this in point 8. There is no problem. But point 8 talks about industries and the transition of industries. But point 1 is more on the economy part. So here, since agriculture services are also mentioned, and we have to mention them in our answer also. So that is why I find it more appropriate to write in point number 1 compared to point number instead of point number 8. Right? Are you with me? Yes or no? Arey sir, why are you opening lot of tabs in your browser? Just keep one tab open, this. Don't do anything else. So this was question 1. Almost all question 1s are from point 1. We are looking at some kind of a trend here. Let us look at 2014. Let us look at 2014 question 2. Let us look at the next question. Please read the question. Paragraph question hai. Please read the question and please tell me which syllabus point is it coming from. Please tell me which syllabus point is it coming from. Which sub point is it coming from. Please tell me that also. Which syllabus sub point is it coming from. while we flaunt India's demographic dividend, if you don't know the meaning of this term, demographic dividend means that demography is the composition of people in a particular area or a country or a geographical boundary. So composition of your home is maybe you will have 3 female or 1 male in your home, just as an example. So that is the demography, is the composition of people, their age, their sex, their health condition, their literacy or education, everything comes under demography. Okay? So, and dividend means a positive surplus or a bonus or something which we are gaining, that is dividend. So demographic dividend, जनसांख्यिकीय लाभांश in Hindi. Demographic dividend is that India's population is very young. We have a very high percentage of population of working age. So that is called as demographic dividend, because so working age or young population is healthy, productive, open to learning new things and earning a lot of money, mobilizing a lot of resources in the economy, which ultimately helps everyone. Okay? So that is why while we flaunt India's demographic dividend, oh, we are young and we are good, we ignore the dropping rates of employment or employability. Do we have employment or something related to employability in our syllabus point? Yes, we have in point number 1, issues relating to planning, development, mobilization of resources, growth and employment. Okay? While we flaunt, we ignore the dropping rates of employability. So we have a lot of demographic dividend, we have young people, but they are not employed properly or they are unemployed. Okay? What are we missing while doing so? Where will the jobs that India desperately needs come from? Explain. Very, very, very interesting question. Very, very, very thought-provoking question. What are we missing while doing so? Where will the jobs that India desperately needs come from? Explain. Now, two main parts are what are we missing while doing so, or why is there. So basically, what they are asking is कि why is there unemployment? Unemployment क्यों है? What are we missing while doing so is because why is there unemployment amongst the demographic youth or dividend wale youth? Why is there unemployment? That is one. Second part is where will the jobs that India desperately needs come from? Now, no-brainer, very easy. Which part will have more weightage? Obviously, it is the second part which will have more weightage, because reasons for dropping employment or rising unemployability is very easy or basic hai. It is given in NCERT also. But where will the jobs that India desperately needs come from? This particular thing, this futuristic thing, or now this is a question which has baffled economists, which has baffled politicians, IAS officers, civil servants, policymakers, so many people, okay, academicians, and that question is very difficult. So obviously out of 12 and a half, I will give, I don't know, we can give 8 also. 8 and 4 and a half. 8 इसको जाएगा, 4 and a half will go to the first part. Okay, where will, so few words again, small question, where will the jobs that India needs come from? But big answer. So accordingly, if 8 and 4 and a half is the weightage, then in your page, or rather 2 sides, please end the first part here or here itself, causes of unemployment, and write this entire thing on the second part. Where will the jobs desperately, which India needs desperately come from? Please, ऐसा follow करो. What happens normally? Unemployment का causes go from here to here, and here you start jobs, and 1, 2, 3, 4 points. But see the weightage, see the importance of the question, see the importance of the subpart. Okay, see employment and all we are going to cover, so don't worry about it. Question ka answer milna is not the priority here. Then please write this. Please write 2014 question 2 in also in point number 1. 2014 question 2 in point 1. Then we come to 2014, same paper, question 1 written, question 2 written. Then we come to question number 4. Then we come to question number 4, not 3, question number 4. See paragraph. A bada question, big question. Read this question, tell me which syllabus point, tell me which syllabus sub point. Please read this 2014 question number 4. Read the question. In the villages itself, no form of credit organization will be suitable except the cooperative society. Discuss the statement in the background of agricultural finance. Now, this might seem a part of agriculture, this might seem a part of issues of agriculture and all, but still, in the broader picture, in the broader scheme or a broader syllabus of things, it again falls under mobilization of resources. Okay, it falls under mobilization of resources, which is there in point number 1. So what is the question saying? Discuss this statement in the background of agricultural finance, which means ki suitability of cooperative society is there for providing agricultural finance is being asked. What constraints and challenges do financial institutions supplying agricultural finance face? So they are asking here constraints and challenges. So always keep in mind constraints and challenges can be asked for schemes, can be asked for performance of certain schemes, can be asked for institutions providing or doing a particular job. Okay? And how can technology be used to better reach and serve rural clients? So there are 3 parts now. There are 3 parts. The first part is suitability of cooperative model for agricultural finance. The second part, challenges faced by financing institutions or the institutions which provide finance. And the third part is this thing. How can technology be used to better reach and serve rural clients? My personal opinion, it is in point 1, mobilization of resources, and the weightage for all 3 should be equal. That is what I feel. Or thoda upar niche, 0.5, 1 up down, but the weightage for all 3 should be equal because challenges of institutions providing agricultural finance, even though it is easy, but they are very important. So you cannot afford to give less space or less words to the challenges in this particular question. Sir, how do you know all this? It is my personal judgment, but at the same time, I have read the content, I have written the content, I have researched the content so many number of times that I know which part is important. Now, UPSC might follow a different marking scheme altogether. I also concede that. But we have to streamline our preparation in some manner, right? UPSC is not going to give you everything. You read this, don't read this, read that, don't read that. That we have to decide. So that is why this we are doing. And all 3 should be given equal. If more marks are supposed to be given, then part 1 and part 3 should get more marks. Part 2 is still school based, but suitability of cooperative sector is a bit complicated and to write. And that is why 1 should get more, and this is very futuristic, and considering pandemic and all have happened, technology has really penetrated to the areas. So 3 becomes very important in current times also. So 3 gets more weightage. So you can say 1 and 3 equal, and second co you can give a little bit less weightage. Please write 2014 question number 4 in your point 1. Please write this 2014 question number 4 in point 1. Again in 2014, one more question in the same paper, 2014, question number 9. Question number 9. Which syllabus point, which sub point, which syllabus sub point are we talking about here? It is mobilization of resources, but at the same time, it is effect of liberalization on mobilization of resources. Remember point 8 say point 1 we used to go. So you can write this in point 8 or point 1, your choice. I have written in point 1, mobilization of resources. Primarily it is FDI, but you can write in point 8 also. The point which I am trying to tell you here is that there are 4 parts to this question. Impact of liberalized FDI on Indian defense in the short and long run. 1, 2. Impact of Indian liberalized FDI on the economy in short and long run. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 parts. You can divide your question into 2 parts also. Short run defense economy, long run defense economy. You can divide into 2 parts like economy short long, defense short long. But please make sure that you address all 4 parts. Defense short long, economy short long. And once you try to do that, once you write even 2 points in all this, you will have 8 points. है ना? 8 points say 1 point here and there you can give as a background, as an intro, and then 1 point as a conclusion. You will have total 10 points in your answer, including intro and conclusion, which is very good. 10 points, 200 words, since it is a 2014 paper, 20 points, 20 words per point, considering you are writing for 200 words. So 20 points is so less. Just see how much is 20 points. You have to finish your point very soon. शुरू होते ही खत्म करना है point. Just 2 lines, 20 words, finish, done. Every point, including intro and conclusion. That is the speciality of such kind of questions, which have a lot more parts than the marks. Okay, is it cool? I hope it is cool. Are you with me? Please write 2014 question 9 in your point 1. Please write 2014 question 9 in point 1. Please write 2014 question 9 in point 1. Okay, let us do something latest. Let us do something new. 2020. Let us move on to 2020. Latest paper 2020. So don't be under the impression कि पुराना है नया है. This is the new one. This is the latest. Question 2. 2020 question number 2. 2020 question number 2. Just read this. 2020 question number 2. Point 1, Indian economy and issues relating to planning and all. GDP also comes there only. GDP is a measure of growth. So when we speak about potential GDP, it falls under growth under point number 1. Okay? So what they are saying, define potential GDP, first part. Define potential GDP, straightforward. Second part, explain its determinants. How do you determine? What are the determinants or what are the factors or characteristics of potential GDP? How do you determine potential GDP? So today's GDP is so much. Potentially, what is the GDP? What is the potential GDP? Second part, so far school level. Okay, so far very straightforward. So far school level, right? What are the factors that have been inhibiting India from realizing its potential GDP? You only tell me which should get. There are 3 parts. Don't look at 4 here. There are 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. You only tell me which part should get more points. Which part should get more points? 1, 2, 3. Of course, it is 3. Because here also they are asking give reasons only or what are the factors. But this is school. Define and determinants likho. This is what we have been doing in school. So see, school level questions also come in 2020. Don't worry, it is very tough. It is so much of analysis is required. Not required. We have seen, in fact, 2019-20 we have seen more straightforward questions compared to 2014-15. Remember 14-15 questions, very tough questions, big questions and tough questions. 19-20 they are asking define and say the determinants of potential GDP. Okay? What are the factors that have been inhibiting India from realizing its potential GDP? Which means overall economy mein what are the drawbacks? This is so important and not tough. This is so easy. You can write anything and you can write here, this is causing potential GDP problem. Anything you can write here. All the economic issues you probably thought of, you can write here. So this is very easy. But most importantly, just imagine you are reading this answer. You read define, you read key determinants, you read key these are the factors. Something is missing. Kuch meetha baki hai, some dessert is missing in your answer. Okay, you have written all the causes. So when you go to the doctor says ki, your body temperature is high, your weight is very low compared to your BMI is very low basically, and your bone density is also low. You have this, you have that, you have swollen thyroid glands and so on and so forth. Please do the blood test or not. You do the blood test, you go to the doctor and he says ki not good, so and then he says okay bye. How would you feel? You say yes sir, give me medicine. Okay, the fourth part is the medicine part. At least 2 points, right? What should be done to realize potential GDP? To realize potential GDP, at least 2 points. We should focus on technological interventions and financial literacy. Bas khatam. Write 2 lines, but write that line. Not asked explicitly, but that is like a mouth freshener after food, palate cleanser, sweet, whatever you want to call it. People drink buttermilk after food and different kinds of things. That will give the examiner a feeling of completeness, and you will get that additional 1 mark or 1.5 marks for that 1 or 2 lines altogether. That is the hidden 4th requirement. That is why I have written 4th here. Hidden 4th requirement. Are you getting it? Again, this we'll speak about in depth in answer writing. Don't worry about that. But this is one of the easy questions. So many parts and so less words. 150 words में 4 parts. Oh. But of course, maximum weightage to the 3rd part. Second maximum weightage, determinants. Then weightage comes to definition, of course. And then weightage comes to your hidden part, 4th part. It is the least weightage wala part, but important, essential to be there. Its presence is essential. Its length is not essential or not important. Please write 2020 question 2 in your point 1. Please write 2020 question 2 in point 1. We have not seen any 15 markers in the latest papers. Now we go to same paper, 2020 question number 12. Your first 15 marker of your life, of GS3 life. Question 12. Read this. Same old story. You will realize. Prelims mein though, trust me, you will agree with me, it is the same old story. इसका आंसर you will not find in books. Please do not think books are the solution to everything. इसका आंसर is only and only newspaper, only newspaper. If you go for ready-made compilation, please note that everyone is reading ready-made compilations. What is your originality? Everyone will write the same points. Where will you get marks from? Please read newspapers. It is very essential. In source list, I am going to talk about newspapers. But for now, read this question. Explain the rationale of goods and services tax, not GST. GST Compensation to States Act. There are various acts of GST. GST Compensation to States Act is one of them. So this was a big issue. I'm telling now, come se kam 2 months tak newspaper articles and editorials had come. 2 months. Just imagine. So it is not possible that you will not know anything about this. It is just not possible. You will know almost everything about this. This is also, I would say, rational reasons पूछे हैं why, ठीक है, and second, how COVID-19 has impacted the GST compensation fund and created the federal tensions. Federal tensions go to GS2, you will have federalism. Like I told you, they have started mixing GS3 and 2 ka some points, but primarily this is an economic paper. Primarily this is GS3. You have to write on economic basis only. You refrain from using political or polity language or polity articles unless absolutely necessary. In this question, it is necessary for last 1 or 2 points for this federal tensions. Okay, so federal tensions mein also you should not write ki it disrupted the article this or harmony wala article is disrupted. Please don't do that. Write it in an economic manner. Again, not going into detail in answer writing. But how many parts? 1. Rationale behind GST. Second, how COVID has impacted compensation fund and created federal tensions. 2. What is the third and hidden requirement? This is all his main course. Third requirement is way forward. Barabar? Way forward. Or how to solve the deadlock, or how to solve the federal tensions, or how to improvise the GST compensation to states, whatever it is. We don't know what it is now, what the issue is, but how to do that. 15 marker, introduction has to be tagda, conclusion has to be very good. So that third hidden part gets more important now. Okay? And in this, trust me, in this, all 3 parts are very important. 1, 2, 3. All 3 parts are equally important. So 5 marks. Rationale is also important. How has it impacted is also important. And federal tensions, how to solve those tensions is also very important. I hope you are getting it. Please write 2020 question number 12 in point 1. Please write 2020 question number 2 and question number 12 in point 1. This is a 15 marker. So if you are following a different color pen methodology, please note that this is a 15 marker. It's a big question. It is for 250 words, 100 words more than your normal 10 marker. Okay? I hope you are appreciating this fact. After the lecture, please message and give me your feedback. It is very important for others also, those who will take late admissions. For them, for the next lectures, I will try to change accordingly if I agree with what you are saying. Okay, that is also there. If I don't agree with what you are saying, then we will follow this pattern only. Right? So we'll stop here. Abhi point 1 baki hai. Point 8, 9, 10 is also remaining. 2, 3 are also remaining, but they are very minuscule. Point 2 and 3 have hardly 3-4 questions in them. So to aise hi ho jayega. Okay? So please keep studying. Please maintain this page for all subjects if possible, but for my subjects, so please do that. And take care. Keep studying. Thank you.